I get very easily distracted. So what'll happen is like, all right, I gotta, get this template together. And then, like an email will come in, or like we discuss something over a previous call, and I'm like, oh, but I should do that. And then I just keep getting distracted by all these things. So I did set up my templates, because my weekly goal was to set up email templates for awareness, which I did, but that was after much, much, much distraction. So I want to be more productive, and I want to only focus on things that are going to help me prospect. So if anyone can share what's been, helping in your own business, that would be so helpful.
Gotcha. We'll come back to that in a second. I want to go around robin, just get a feel for how everybody's doing. And I got a couple things for you first.
Okay.
John, anything else? Because we kind of just dove into your stuff quickly there.
Yeah, nothing else other than hoping more people would call from all these mailers out.
Jacob.
So I'm working on the text blast templates, et cetera, just fumbling through that. Trying to get accustomed to this versus like what it was on HubSpot. So that's kind of where I'm at, building those out and starting some kind of campaign from email and text. I know like Liz and Marie are like up on that, and I guess knowing what they're doing, but I am not the most tech savvy person. So I just gotta hone in on it and learn it, and develop a rhythm for it so it can work for me.
Gotcha. Cool. Lorraine, anything specific? Awesome. Good share, Lorraine. So with that, we'll come back over. She's probably doing something now. I'm picking on her, but we'll come back over to Sophia. Go ahead and elaborate a little bit more, Sophia. What is it that you kind of need a little bit of ideas, thoughts, whatever, around?
So I'm just trying to find good tools to use in order to reach these people. So currently I am doing text messages, I'm doing emails and letters, and it's because of the population. I'm dealing with an older population. And so not a lot of them have cell phones or really work on their cell phones. So the last thing would be like a cold call. And so I just want to make sure that I'm using the right tools in order to reach these people. And how many times should I touch these people too? Because I know that that's important.
We don't touch them, because touching people gets a little.
Or no, you know what I
mean. Break down. Give me an example. Like, what do you got out there right now? What's actively going on a consistent basis? I don't want to hear I did this one time 5 months ago, kind of thought.
So consistently, I've been sending letters.
Is this on your real estate agent side, or are we talking investment side?
No, this was just on the investment side. So now it's going to switch up where it's coming from the realtor side, just because it's received better. I realized they're more willing to listen if they know that you're, legit. I wouldn't say legit, but like a realtor, someone who's licensed.
Got it. In this message that's going out, give me an idea. What does it sound like?
So the first letter I sent, because I keep switching it up. That's the problem. The first time I sent out a letter, it was that thing that I got from, what is his name? It was like a fortune builder letter, and it was saying how, I'm a family and I'm looking for a house in your neighborhood. I really like your house, and please give me a call, and with a little picture of a family. And that actually got somebody. And that was about a year ago. And I had to drop it because the lady was like, oh, are you going to live in this house? And, I'm going to tell the neighbors. And I'm like, I just got freaked out, and I just couldn't lie to the lady anymore. So I just kept it moving. I was like, no, we found a different house, whatever. And so the second letter that I sent out, was one that was introducing myself as a realtor that can offer solutions to people in these such and such situations. So I'm leading with that now. Like, I'm the realtor that can help you out.
Gotcha. And how's that been so far?
I just started it, to be honest, because I just figured that out. I just sort of said, you know what, I'm going to just mesh them together. Because like I said, it's been received a little bit better.
Who are we targeting?
The population that I'm targeting, well, first I was doing driving for dollars. So I sent those letters out. I'm still working.
Who's the avatar?
I still don't know. I'm kind of like, but based on what I've reviewed with these lists, it's the older population, like the people that have owned the house for like 15, 20 years. Some of them are veterans, some of them are seniors, and some of them have disabilities. So that's what I know about that population. And then the second list that I'm working on is just distressed, like, Liz Pendens.
Okay, so the first list, why would they want to sell? What's going on?
So these were houses that, like it needed a new roof, or the siding was falling off. These were homes that I jotted down and I said, hey, these people might want to sell at some point.
Gotcha. So visually distressed, not really
Yeah.
sure the situation.
Yeah.
Obviously they haven't fixed it, or it wouldn't look the way that it did, right?
Yeah.
That area, the market, lower income, I'm assuming.
In some of the towns, yes, there are some people that are renting in those houses. A lot of them actually. And they just, the landlords are just letting it go.
Okay. So we're not really targeting the person in the house, we're targeting.
No, not at all.
Reason I'm asking these questions, right? It becomes really, really difficult to put a marketing message together when I don't know who the freak I'm talking to. Right?
No, yeah.
I keep saying that.
Mhm.
I was talking to Kim the other day, and they're doing a lot with landlords. And I asked one question: why do these landlords want to sell? She said, well, everybody here that owns properties like that, they're tired of the winters, and they're at that age, they're snowbirding. They're ready to go south, right? They want to sell, get the heck out of Chicago and everything going on up here and all the coldness, and they're moving to Florida.
Mhm.
Well, now the marketing message becomes really simple. I want to stand out, right? So whether it's text message, whether it's yellow letter, whether it's a postcard, I don't care what it is. All of a sudden, I said, why don't you do this? She loves doing text blasts. Send a text message that's not, hey, this is Kim with Onyx Homes, I'm looking to buy a house. Instead, send something like, ready to move to Florida? Tired of the Chicago winters? Align the text blast going out with the next big snowstorm that hits. You just got smacked with 6 inches. Let the opening line of the text message be something like, tired of that 6 inches of snow that just smacked us? Wish you could get rid of the rental and be in Florida?
That's good.
See how something's totally different there, right?
Yeah.
Then
completely.
you go into all the other stuff. This is Liz with Onyx Homes. We specialize in helping, property owners, not landlords, property owners liquidate their properties so they can move on to the next chapter in life. And many of them seem to be moving south. Well, if that's the trend and that person gets that kind of text, more likely to pay attention, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Same thing with the postcard. Got a postcard with a beautiful sunny beach, palm trees, make it look like it's a Florida, like I'm mailing you this from Florida kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And on the back of it, it's actually got a little bit of your information and what you're trying to do, and then kind of next phase for them, QR code, take them to a website kind of thing. Well, they're more likely, they're going to, if that's in their mind, counting down the days till I can get the hell to Florida, that ends in their mailbox, they're going to look at that.
Mm.
If there's information about a business, they're going to go look that one up, because that, now I've got their attention.
Well, yeah.
And I say this all the time, that's the job of your marketing. It's not to sell them. It's not to convince them. It's to get their attention. The awareness, right?
Mm-hmm. All right. So what do you think about something like put that pre-foreclosure problem behind you? Or because that's
We
my
never want to
second.
speak directly at it, right? Meaning we never want to use negatives. We never want to speak directly to a negative. Why do I say in Kim's situation, they want to go Florida? Why am I saying speak to that? Because that's the positive, that's the result. That's the dream, right?
Yeah.
But I never want to point out the problem. or the issue, because now I'm assuming that they actually have that problem.
Okay.
And how defensive do you get if I assume something of you?
Yeah, no, that's true.
Even if I'm remotely right, but there's a slight chance I'm not 100% accurate, the defense will come up, right? Because nobody likes to be pointed out like that. But if I know I'm going after somebody that's probably tight on money, can't assume they're in pre-foreclosure, but they got a lot of problems with the house. Well, what's a big problem in the building world right now that would keep somebody from fixing siding, doing a roof if they're tight on money?
What's a big problem?
Yeah, what's a big problem in the building world right now?
Materials.
What about the materials?
They're too high. They're too costly.
Price of materials are still through the roof, right?
Yeah.
Everything has gone up. Cost of that roof 2 years ago might have only run them $5,000. Now it's an $8,000, right? Or maybe 2 years ago it was 10,000 and now it's 20,000, right? Depending on your area.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I could play to that.
Okay.
I could play around something like, I'm just as pissed off about the building costs as you kind of mentality, right?
Yeah.
If I'm doing postcards, maybe it's, there's the memes all over the internet right now, and you've seen them for a while. The pickup truck with 2 pieces of plywood and it says $8,000 in lumber.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Think that way, right? If I'm going postcard mailing, maybe the front of it's something stupid like that, like a before and after on the front of the postcard of something like 2019, and it's a truck stacked up with a bunch of lumber, $800. 2022, 2 2x4s, $5,000. Because if they're dealing with tight money and they've got repairs, and that's something that I can relate to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or it at least grabs my attention. Like, what the hell is this? And I flip it over and I start reading. But again, I go back, all the job of the marketing is to do is to get their attention and take them somewhere. Well, where do we want to take them?
To our site.
Website.
Okay.
Get them to the website where they can safely engage. First step. 1 to 3% of people are going to pick up that phone and call you. Straight from something in their mail, a text message. 1 to 3% of people are going to answer your cold call and actually say, yeah, let's talk.
Okay. Gotta remember that. Thanks.
75% of people will end up looking you up online if you give them the thing to go look at. If that's what you tell them to do, 75% of people will do that. Curiosity.
All right, cool. Write this down.
Now we have to think next layer. Where on the website and what's on there.
Yeah.
Right. This is what John was just starting to, and I were talking at the start of this, right? He's targeting some people and he wants to do something very specific. Well, we should direct them to a very specific page on the website for that type of campaign. And I like the idea of a video of John being on there, right? But plus content, plus multiple ways to get in touch with us, because I want to be able to allow them to choose. You can call me. Here's how you do that. You can fill out this form, right? Those that are Lead Vault, I just sent you out the video on how to get the little chat bot. If there's a chat bot down here, you can send me a little message here where it's low threshold, safe to do.
You're giving me a lot of homework now.
It's not about trying to knock all this off at one time.
Okay.
Right, before you can launch any marketing, you really need to sit down and think about all of it and plan it all out and then go, okay, what do I got to get in place before this can go out? I don't want to go and mail out a bunch of postcards if I don't have all this other stuff done.
That's
So let me
true.
go get all this stuff done so that I can turn around and go mail the postcards out. I think John did that once. He sent a bunch of postcards out and forgot that he didn't have everything together over here, or had sent a bunch of postcards out but completely missed the idea of directing them somewhere or something like that. That's why he's working on the next phase before the next batch goes out.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
The other thing, from a text message standpoint, right, if we're going to do cold texting, I know Jacob was asking this question. One of the big mistakes Liz and Marie were making for a long time was Marie would send a blast text message out on one day to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Liz is the one that has to answer that.
And
How would you
don't
like
have
it if I
fun.
blasted 200 people simultaneously and said, all the answers are coming to your phone,
Yeah.
right? And you got to decipher which one's good, which one's bad, right? A bunch of FUs, a bunch of screw offs, a bunch of stop doing this to me. And then somewhere in there, somebody's like, sure. And you're like, ah. Well, let's think that through. What's the point of my text message? Just to get them to look at it and answer me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what do I want them to answer me? What is it that I'm actually trying to drive from here? And I want more I want more answers. So I want to not send as many as at one time. And I want to spread that out a little bit so that I can field those and get into some conversations. And I know I'm going to still get the FUs and the stops and the get me off your list, replies, that kind of stuff. A big deal. You filter those out. But what happens when they answer me back? Well, I got to think about what am I trying to drive them to next? Do I want them to immediately get on a call with me, or am I okay having manual text conversations back? Do I want to give them a website to you see what I'm saying? We want to map out the campaign. It's
Okay.
marketing is designed to be done as a campaign, not a tactic. Yellow letter, tactic. Postcard, tactic. Text, tactic. Cold call, tactic. Right? Multiple tactics are what make up the campaign. So I have to align I got to think about what are all my tactics that I want to use. And now I've got myself a campaign. And now I can launch the campaign, and I got to keep running the campaign and let the campaign give me data and make adjustments to the campaign, which means I might make an adjustment to a particular tactic, but I'm not going to kill the whole campaign. It's okay then to say, you know what, I don't like the responses that I was getting off of that first mailing that went out, or that first text that went out. Let me change what I said, maybe use a different photo if I'm doing postcards, right?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying there? Now we're not looking at it like, oh, that's bad, I changed the message. No, that I needed to. It's called split testing in marketing. But at the end of the day, the campaign's the same. I'm targeting this type of audience, and this is what I'm trying to get them to do. And here's all the stages of that campaign. And we look for where's the breakdown? Where are we not getting good results? We own 2 product brands, right? And we've got a pretty significant email list right now. We do a lot of email marketing for these products. Well, a portion of this big campaign that we constantly are running for these products, we know that we're getting a lot of good open rates. The emails are getting opened and they're clicking to the website, but they're not buying. So they're opening an email and they're clicking to the website to see the stuff, but no, we've got filters in place where we're like, there's 200 people that have opened the email and clicked to the website but never bought a product. Well, I got to do something different to that sub audience now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're designing a different email with a different offer and using something to try to entice them to buy. Right? But that's not going to go to all those other people that are opening emails, clicking through and buying, because they're already doing business the way we want them to. So we just keep feeding the marketing, keep that campaign running, keep them coming back to the website, keep putting things in front of them that we know they take action on. But this audience over here, I got to change something up because that's not working. So we're changing the message. We know they open emails and we know they'll click to the website. I just got to change the message now. Dangle a carrot in front of them. But I only know that because we knew the campaign. We knew the email was going to take them to the product page, which was going to, right? The goal of that was to get them to buy. Well, where's the gap? We got them there, they didn't buy. That's the gap. I got to figure out how to make the next step now.
Gotcha.
Does that make more sense?
Yeah, actually, it really does. It helps. Thank you.
But instead of feeling like, holy crap, I got to do all of this stuff, you actually got to sit down and do planning first and then look at it and go, I need to do this and this, and then I'm ready to roll.
Okay.
Kind of like I told John, he needs a couple videos before his next postcard can go out. Cool. Those are easy videos to pop out. They're a minute long. And obviously he is comfortable on camera and has a cool little background. And That shouldn't be too hard for him to say. You just gotta, all right, I just gotta focus on those 3 videos. Let me knock those out.
I like your background, man.
Thanks.
Good with that, Sophia?
Good. Thank you so much.
So like your big rock next week should be,
Yeah.
I'd spend some time between now and Monday thinking about like where in this whole thing do I gotta just get started at? And if it's I gotta map it out and plan it, well then that's your big rock next week. Because I gotta put the whole plan down. I gotta really sit down and think about, I'm blending my realtor side into my real estate investing side now. What am I, who am I going after? What does that audience look like? What am I trying, what's typically going on with that? And what does this campaign look like? Am I going to mail them only? Am I going to, multiple things in there? Because you asked that other, like, how many times should we touch them, right? The marketing touch. The average person needs 5 to 7.
5 to 7. Okay.
5 to 7 touches before they can fully move over.
All right.
So I start thinking about, how do I touch that person 5 to 7 times in this campaign? I can't do it all at once either.
Yeah. Bob just said, how much is too much?
We know the average is 5 to 7, right? I should open the chat. Bob likes the chat. The average is 5 to 7, but there's people right now in my database that I market to that every single week they're getting something from me, and they're in there for 52 weeks. Matter of fact, they're in there until they do one of 2 things. They reply with unsubscribe, stop, something like that, or they do business with me. It's the only way you get out of that funnel.
I actually had a question about lead vault because I was thinking about this. So when a potential client has multiple phone numbers, how can we, because the CRM that I'm using right now, I would have to manually put the number in where I would like to call or whatever. So how is it set up with you guys? Is it similar, or can I click the number as I don't know, go along, I guess?
We'll come back to that in a second. I just saw Bob but when do you piss them off? Well, I actually want to piss them off. It's actually a metric I track in a lot of our marketing is our unsubscribe. Whether that's unsubscribe from text, unsubscribe from the email, whatever, tell me to get off, stop, delete me out of your software, whatever it is, right? I look at it as, if we're not getting people to do that, I haven't pushed them enough. And the ones that are doing that, I'm like, cool, I got rid of people that aren't my ideal audience anyway. They don't want to do business. They're not going to do anything with me. Get them off my stuff.
Yeah, you're just paying money
But
for
do
nothing.
Do they end up sending you something that says a negative reaction to what you are sending to them, and then they retort on your webpage that gives you bad feedback?
You mean like somebody getting so pissed off that they want to go and write a negative review?
Yeah, something like that.
I've never really had it happen, but I wouldn't stress about it. What I've actually seen is they get, and I've had Liz and Marie actually just had this happen. They're trying to work a deal with somebody that this went down this way. They replied back angry. They didn't want to be contacted anymore. And Liz hit them with an answer, basically an apology, and then explained. So, and next thing you know, they ended up in conversation. But I'm never going to stress. We've had it, we've had negative reviews before. I'm never going to stress or not market to somebody out of fear that they might leave me a negative review. Because the normal individual, just look at restaurants. Restaurants are notorious for this happening to them. You can pretty much find any restaurant, go to their Yelp page or go to their Google reviews, and you'll find a bunch of really good reviews, and then you're going to find these bad reviews. Look at Amazon. It's the same thing, products, right? And you can typically read a bad review and see that it was more the person writing the review than the actual place. The majority of the time, right? So personally, I'm never gonna not do more marketing to somebody out of fear that I might be pushing them too far and piss them off. And when I do get that negative one that kind of kicks in, well, then that's where, I'll apologize. I'll play the nice guy. I have had some bad reviews when we had our property management company from actual tenants of ours. They actually left us a bad review, and we figured out a way to help them out with something and asked them in exchange, can you do me a favor and go update your review and make it better? It was a way to handle that. That help you, Bob? I think you said okay. Yep. Okay, got it. Sweet. Anybody else have anything before I didn't want to go too technical into something specific like lead vault on Sophia's stuff, unless anybody's got something else. No, we all good? Everybody else just to be on today and hear what's talked about, and maybe something.
I had lead vault questions myself. That's all.
Okay.
I think we're all on to get brownie points.
It's not about showing up every day. I told you guys that. Technically, you lost out on brownie points, John. You missed a few days this week if I was tracking.
Yeah, I missed 2.
All right, so let's go. We'll go a hair technical here then. Sophia.
Wait, one sec.
See, this is what happens every time. I give you the
No,
chance.
because I'm not sure if I really want to bring it up, but here we are. So a lot of what you just described seems like it is outbound marketing, right?
Yes and no.
Well, my comment is I've been thinking a lot, and especially after the last call that we had where we're sort of breaking down my avatar, and I started to realize that I don't do any marketing. So a lot of, or at least not the outbound marketing that you're describing, like a lot of it, I'm just either, maybe I have a video or I have some social media stuff or blogs, and people are sort of reaching out to me based on that. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe I'm not, huh?
That's inbound marketing.
Yes.
Which has a campaign and a funnel process behind it. Or it should, I should say.
But I guess my challenge is as I'm hearing these things that are being described on the calls, part of me feels like I'm not doing enough if I'm just relying on inbound. But my avatars, they're not really structured for outbound marketing.
I disagree.
Okay. Please elaborate.
Cold outreach is 100% an outbound method. Cold outreach is outbound marketing, right?
But they're not.
That's the way to think about it. Is outbound marketing is really cold outreach. It's, I don't know this person. They don't really know me. Even if I know them, maybe, but they didn't ask for this information. I'm coming at them with it, right?
Okay.
In your both businesses, tax and notes, you want to grow it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the inbound is great because it naturally happens. It comes in. It's a warmer lead by the time it gets to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I can't rely solely on it.
Well, yeah, this is where my problem lies.
I know exactly who it is that I want to go after, right? Take your tax side. I want to be doing tax returns for real estate professionals. We'll keep it at that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So guess what? I'm going to pull a list of real estate professionals, and I'm going to design an outbound campaign. Whether that be I reach out to them via cold call, whether that be I hit them with a text message, whether that be I drop something in their email, whether that be I drop something in the mail to them.
Okay. Yes, I get that. So how do I probably know the answer to this in terms of how do I compile that list? I mean, that could just be, I guess, being active in like Facebook groups and that sort of thing to just get people to give me their information.
There's a cold outbound element. That's a whole campaign in itself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go into Facebook groups that have real estate investors in it. And every day I'm going to reach out via Facebook message to 5 different individuals in there with a cold message to their messenger about my tax services for real estate investors. That's
Okay.
the tactic. Cold messaging from a group is the tactic, right? But you know that I can go into a Facebook group with real estate investors in it because that's who I want.
Okay.
I could go to any title company in anywhere USA, call them up and say, I would love to collaborate with you or figure out something, or would you just be willing to give me a list of companies that are real estate investors, not agents, that are closing properties with you.
Agents too. Agents need help.
I'm
They're small
using real
business.
estate agent or a real estate investor is the only avatar, right?
Okay.
But is there a way that I can get access to that? Is there, do you have, some are going to say, sure, I know this company, this guy. Are they going to give you all the contact information? No, but you can go and, do your own research on that. RIA groups.
Property management companies.
Yeah. I mean, you can literally sit down and just do some research one day and probably pinpoint an area and say, hey, today or this week, I'm only going to work on just finding opportunities in this particular city. So I'm going to do a bunch of Googling all day long, to find different real estate companies and management companies and all this stuff. And I'm going to compile a list and then I'm going to dump them into the campaign. Well, what's the campaign? Now that goes back to what I was talking about the Sophia.
And not to interrupt you, but for whatever reason, I am not too concerned about generating leads for the taxes. I'm not saying that I still don't want to work.
Same thing on your note side. Who's your ideal audience for the notes? It's another person that's in, we talked about this one the other day. We broke it down. Like the sweet spot is the real estate investor who's actively doing real estate deals. Because they already kind of understand real estate and you just need to get their attention that there's this other way over here.
I think I've thought of a way to approach this based on your examples. Thanks. Yeah.
But it's like I figure out who it is, and the outbound side is I just go to those places or go get that information, and then now the campaign's the same structure.
I think I was
on the offensive there.
Yeah, I think I was just thinking very narrow in terms of, okay, well, if these people can't find me, then they must not be interested, but they don't know.
You don't know that you exist. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. Now, in the inbound marketing side, the SEO, the digital aspect, and some of the inbound marketing approaches, podcasts, blogging, YouTube videos. Excuse me. The more consistent you keep that going, the more it starts to show up, the more it starts to become found, right?
Yeah.
But early on, I can't let that be my driver and my only driver. I've got to play in the outbound space as well, in the outreach world, right? But as the inbound grows, outbound doesn't have to happen as much.
Right, right.
I haven't done any cold prospecting in probably 3-4 months because our inbound is finally getting some really good traction that I don't need to. Now, if Roger and I said, let's go crazy this month and try to have a super explosive month, I can't rely just on inbound. I'd have to jump back in and start doing some of the cold outreach that I know is second I start doing it, I'll start plucking opportunities left and right.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because I just was thinking about it again, closed-minded, and thinking, well, okay, I have this niche that I'm focusing on within real estate, so I can only do this type of marketing, and that's probably what's preventing me from actually building this out a little bit more. I still can apply the same outbound strategies that I was doing when I was going for rehabs and wholesales. It's just a different approach.
The audience is different. That's it. And what I say, right? The messaging changes.
Sweet. That's helpful. Thank you.
Okay. Can we switch to some more technical stuff then?
Yes. Yes.
Niche is fine, but have to think outside the box. What do you mean by that, Bob? Or are you just agreeing? We'll see if he answers.
Agreeing, but you gotta what's the word? Creative. You got to be creative. Use your imagination, because not everybody's thinking the way that you are, and most times they're not.
Mm-mm. The inbound is the marketing that grabs the person that's thinking the way you want them to be thinking, right? Because that's the searcher, that's the person doing maybe some research. That they're out looking and they stumble on it, and that they come through, right?
Yeah, they already want what you're giving, but you got to think about the people that aren't wanting to give what you're offering. So their mindset is not where yours is, and they want to be able to provide you what they want. However, their mindset is not where yours is. So you got to, in as many words, manipulate their thought process.
I'm gonna throw this out there because the majority of you guys come from this world. Lorraine, since you asked this question, you're going on the seat. Ready? When you started in real estate,
Mhm.
were you, I want you to go all the way back, like I'm talking all the way back to the beginning,
Mhm.
right? The FB world.
Yeah.
Did you do the 2-hour preview?
Yes. Sort of. I was late. Yes. I'll just say yes.
What made you sign up for the 2-hour preview?
I had an interest in getting started with real estate investing.
What caught your, like, was it the TV commercial or the radio ad?
Probably, I think I saw something online, actually, social media, I think, like Facebook or something.
Okay, so you were actually one of the very few inbound leads to fortune builders.
Probably, yeah.
You were doing some research and stumbled on something, right?
Mhm.
90%, 95%, I should actually say, of people that end up at that preview event, that free 2 hours,
Mhm.
come from outbound marketing tactics. TV, commercial, in that local market, right? You see it or you hear it, and it
Mhm.
entices you to sign up for the free thing.
Okay. That's a big percentage.
That's where the majority came from. Right. But where I'm bringing this up at is it didn't lead to a call. It didn't lead to something one-on-one where I knew I was probably getting into a sales pitch. It was positioned like, come for 2 hours and learn a bunch of stuff. We used to do this, and it was an awesome campaign in our market. I would do the same thing with home sellers in the Youngstown, Ohio area. I'd go to the library. I'd reserve a room. It was free. It's the library for a couple hours on a Saturday. We would pick a neighborhood that was close to that. We would always go to a library that's close to the neighborhood that we're trying to target. And we would blanket that thing with, whether we did door hangers, postcards, we did them all. This is way before digital was big. And we would invite all the different homeowners in that area to come and learn on how they could get the most for their home if they were thinking about selling in today's market. Sponsored and hosted by House to Home Properties.
Yeah.
I didn't care if I had 2 people in the room, which I had sometimes. Other times we'd have like 30 people in the room that would show up to it. And we would just talk about all the things going on in the real estate market right now. And we'd pull up examples of homeowners that we were working with and helping and the deals that we were doing, right? If you didn't have any deals, you just pull up things that you know are selling and are going well and other things that are happening in the market, right? And you talk through it. And we just ended it with, if you're considering selling in today's market, we'd love to just sit down and talk with you and help you figure out how to get the most out of your house today, right? I bring that up because nothing's changed from 2012, 2013, 2014 when I was doing that to today. I blast a bunch of emails out and I say, hey, join this webinar, where I'm going to teach you a bunch of stuff over the course of 45 minutes. And at the end of the 45, 50-minute webinar, what do I always say? You want a little bit of help figuring this out for yourself? You like to talk to us a little bit deeper, maybe see how we can help you accelerate that thing? Go ahead and book a call with us and let's get on a call and talk. All I did was replace in person with a screen.
And you pre-record this webinar or you do it live?
No, when have you ever been on a webinar of mine that was pre-recorded?
No, I'm just,
So on your note side of the world, could we gather could we go pull list by list, get our hands on a bunch of different individuals that are in the real estate world that are of the avatars that we want, right? Go look at your 2 or your 3 versions of that. And could the whole outbound approach just be, I want to get them on for 30 minutes to learn about alternative ways of investing. And I don't care if I got 5 people on it or 50 people on it.
that really pairs well with what we were talking about. Maybe it was earlier this week or last week about getting in front of people, like having the monthly or the bi-monthly webinar where you just give value, just provide information relating to investing.
Now, on the more traditional real estate, John, Jacob, Bob, Sophia, right, where we're trying to actually get the house, I'd go bi-weekly, twice a month. Just make it a set thing, like every Thursday at 4 p.m. in this market, we host a virtual how to sell your house for the best money, in the local market kind of thing. And you have that on your website, and you do a bunch of mailings and postcards and texts and whatever the case. And throughout, this week isn't the week that we're doing it. Next week is. Well, I'm talking to a homeowner this week, and it's like, hey, it's more for the person that's not quite ready to move or make a decision yet. Hey, next Thursday we're actually hosting this thing on Zoom, blah, blah, blah. Or if you're in an area where you can do it in person, I encourage you to do it in person. Hey, next Thursday over at the whatever library or whatever, even if you had to do a hotel, right? We just did this with us in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
Why did I spend money on a hotel room for the day, food for the day, alcohol at the end of it? It wasn't just to do an event. It turned into a huge lead opportunity for us. There's people in that room and people on the Zoom that weren't our clients. One of them just jumped off at that time.
Charles, yeah.
Right? We disclosed that we put out a huge shit ton of information, taught everybody all kind of stuff. And then what did we end with? You want to talk to us on how we can help you make this faster and get this done? Let's talk.
Okay.
The strategy has not changed in 10, 12 years. The outlet on how it gets done is it.
Really, really helpful. Okay.
Find another real estate investor that's hosting a local how to sell your house for the most money in today's market type thing in your local area. You find one of them doing that, I'll pay you $500.
Mm-hmm. Nobody is really doing that anymore.
Find a real estate investor that's tapped into the $1 billion industry of online coaching.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Find a real estate investor that's picked up on that trend and said, you know what? I don't need to coach. I'm not coaching the homeowner, but how's the $1 billion coaching world funneling people into programs and courses and everything? It's getting people to sit down in front of their computer for 30 minutes and watch a webinar.
Yeah.
It's getting people to join a Facebook group for a 5-day challenge and be on Facebook Lives for 5 straight days to wazzle and dazzle them to then move them to the next phase. That's all outbound marketing.
Yeah. This
For
is
some
really
reason, real estate investors are trapped in like old crusty landlord mentality where I have to manage it myself and plunge the toilet. Real estate investors are stuck here sitting and they're going, I got to door knock and door hang and cold call and text and drop billions of dollars in letters. Why?
Yeah.
Because Susie, the homeowner, isn't going to join a Zoom meeting to learn this stuff. Are you kidding me? Susie, the homeowner, just had to figure out how to be on Zoom all day for work. Now she's comfortable with it.
Really good. Really good. Yeah, I have to, outbound marketing and yeah.
And then the SEO and all the stuff from a digital stack standpoint and the website, it's the piece that pushes them over the kind of the top, right? It's the final puzzle piece that helps move them along, because they get excited, they learn a little bit, but what's going in the back of their mind? Who the hell is this Lorraine person? Right? Who is this Melanin Holmes? What credibility do they? I know they said this, but right, it's the Deannas of the world who are like, this is good, but I'm gonna go do my own research.
Yeah.
Right. And when you've got the other side dialed in galore, now your inbound kind of picks them up because they search somewhere and they find you, not your competition.
Really, really good.
And all of a sudden, everything you just taught me becomes more creditable because I'm seeing you everywhere. Now I start to trust you faster.
Okay. So outbound, outbound is pretty powerful, but it just takes more
Your
upfront.
speaking gigs. I've been telling you, you got to get out in front of more RIA groups and speak. That's outbound. Why? You stand there and you talk for 45, 50 minutes. You don't even have to make the call to action. Just be in front of that room. He who is in front of the room holds all the power. Somebody's going to look you up. And that's the job of your inbound marketing now, because they're out there now looking. And what do they find? They find you.
Maybe I can cold outreach, like you said, the RIAs, and just get on their calendar. Doesn't even have to be New York. It could be any state, because I don't just invest in New York. This is good. This is good. And Sophia's laughing at me. This is because I don't so pigeonholed or minded in terms of how I approach things.
I'm gonna give you one right now. Ready? Reach out to Jen Josie and get on her podcast.
Jen Josie?
Yeah, she's new longtime friend of mine. I literally just got off recording a podcast with her. I was on her podcast as a guest and then jumped onto this call.
Is she on Facebook?
She's in our group.
She's in our group. Oh,
Our group. She's one of my long time friends / clients / students from Raleigh, North Carolina.
North Carolina is a good place to invest.
Runs the Real Estate Investor Network.
Okay. Jen, wait, I just pulled up.
Jen will have you on her podcast in a heartbeat to talk note investing.
I'm about to reach out to Jen right now.
Right now. Dropping gems this evening.
I found her. Oh, she just joined. Oh, okay, nice.
Now I'm gonna play on this strategy that I just threw out. I'm gonna use somebody like Sophia, who's a agent and an investor.
Me too. No, just kidding.
That would kill it with enticing people to jump on something, right? Because I can play both sides of the coin here.
Exactly.
How to list your home and get an offer in the first 24 hours. Join me Saturday, 10 a.m.
I like it.
What they need to do to list their house and get an offer in the first 24 hours, it needs to be immaculate. It needs to be perfect. It needs to be everything that everybody's looking for in today's, real estate world and what people want. They want to move in ready. They don't want to have to do any work. They want these type of, locations. This is the type of school district that they're in. Well, I don't have any of those things, Sophia. Absolutely. That's why this other side of my business, I can help you. Because you're probably not going to be able, I'll be honest, you're not going to be able to list your property and get an offer in the first 24 hours. However, I can give you an offer in the next 24 hours.
I like it.
It's good.
Okay, that's enough gems for today.
Never
Anyway,
enough.
all my golds, my secrets right out of the gate. Come on. The first Friday.
That's why we have these intimate meetings so that you can give us all the gems. But then it's recorded so everybody else gets it too.
But it's not just about dropping the gems, right? It's about action.
Yeah.
Secret squirrels.
What I would love more than anything is for you guys to actually go try to implement this or start to plan it out and come back to me with the tough questions. What the hell is my marketing line? Right? I'm about to set this up. I've got this plan. I'm targeting this person. I'm struggling. This is what I've come up with so far. Can I make this sound more enticing? The gem is great, but the magic happens when you actually go and do it.
Oh yeah.
Fridays. This is a good Friday task. This is good.
And you can't do all of it out of the gate. So you have to think about it. Like come Monday, that's why I designed the Monday call. Like, what's the big thing for the week? Now, I'll give you an example. My next week, I want to start being able to send out welcome kits, welcome boxes to our clients. Like really nice looking boxes with t-shirt, maybe a tumbler or something like this in it.
Is that retroactive to, you know?
We'll see. If I like it for you, kind of thing.
I like those swag boxes.
Yeah.
No, I really want to be able to do that. Well, over the last about 3 weeks or so, I've been gathering all the information and talking to other agency owners and seeing where do you order your box from? Where do you order your, tchotchke, things like this? Where do you get your shirts printed at a good price? What fulfillment? I don't want to be doing it myself. So what fulfillment out, right? And I finally got all the information together. So next week, I'm going to sit down and step 1, design the box. So I'm going to get that process going, get those ordered, make sure we got the boxes. Then I'll move to the next thing, get it all together, right? But it took a couple of weeks of planning this thing out and doing some research and figuring out what exactly do I want so I can get this knocked out.
Feel good about this. This is good. I'm reaching out to Jen right now, actually.
Don't worry, I'll follow up behind you later when I get done and tell her she needs to have you on.
Was swagbox.com one of them?
No.
Okay.
No, I'd never even heard of that one. One of them was actually Purple Panda, I think it is. Purple Panda or purple something. Purple some animal, I forget. I think it's Panda though.
Yeah, I actually had one come from swagbox.com for another mastermind thing I'm doing. It's real estate.
Yeah, I'm mainly looking at it for lead vault.
Right.
Is that it's very common like that in the software world, but I'm also looking at for REI Toolbox kind of thing. And it depending on package level, I think we're going to have different style of boxes, kind of thing. But I was just using that as an example, right? That's how I think about like what's the big thing next week. Well, the next step for that particular project is we got to get the boxes together. I need to design the box and have the box ready to go so that we can then decide what exactly is going in it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So next week I'll reach out to the company and get Erica to start designing the stuff to then send it over and review it and get a thumbs up. And that'll be the goal by the end of the week is to have a thumbs up on the box design and have them in print. This week was all about another big planning week for me. We're launching on Monday. We're launching something called a sabbatical plan for our company. So we're running in 6-week dev cycles. And then there's 2 weeks of sabbatical where it's paid time off for an entire week. And we have to split the team into 2 teams to be able to have part of the team running on 1 week, the other team running on the other week kind of thing. Well, I had to map out the first 2 quarters. That was my big goal this week. Get it all mapped out, get it on a calendar, get the teams designed, get it all figured out, get Roger and I to agree so that we know if we start on Monday, here's where the 6 weeks runs, here's where the 2 weeks are off, that kind of stuff. Now that's ready to go. So next week we actually execute it.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
So I know we've gone over a lot here, but I'm going to actually stop the recording now and then